I'm not sure what happened, but I thought we all agreed that we wanted Rob gone. So I'm a little bit confused. Hello, lovelies. This is Bits of Banter with Antoinette, and we're going to be going over episode 16 of Love Island USA. Again, where we left off on episode 15, where Liv and Leah were having their argument. Rob walks off and pretty much tells her, I'm closed off now. Like, you can't have me, which is like, I mean, don't threaten us with a good time. We don't want that for Leah anyways. Okay, so bye, Rob. But pretty much after that whole thing, Leah is still crying. She's talking to Sharina and she's like, she doesn't understand what happened. I mean, after my last episode, we talked about, did the deep dive into Leah's conversation, her use of words, all that, all those things. And really the issue is that she shouldn't have said that she took a backseat. I think that left up too much to interpretation, but also Rob really was mixing up her words. I'm not saying that she wasn't trying to take to seem like she was a little bit more distant to the situation. However, I don't think that she meant it exactly the way that Liv and everyone was taking it. We kind of cut to Nicole and Miguel start talking. He tells her he really likes her and would love for her to make a decision, but won't put pressure on her, basically. And Nicole's excited about this. She's excited that the fact that Miguel's kind of showing his cards a little bit more. He's definitely been a lot more of that kind of like that F-boy situation where he's just putting the riz on everybody. Then Cassidy and Connor end up having a conversation and they seem to be kind of hitting it off. I don't think she's going to go for him. I don't think Connor really has any fans in this. And honestly, on this channel, he doesn't have any fans. But they end up talking about the love of animals and he made her first toasty. It seems like they're getting along. In general, I don't think she's going to go for him. Out of the options she has, I think she should, but not because I like him, but because I think I dislike Rob more. And Janae and Kenny end up talking. Kenny's talked about how he's Dominican, and not Janae saying, she's like, oh, I said, when I was little, I was saying I would marry someone who was Latino or Hispanic. But didn't she just also say that to Miguel about how she dated a British man and she wanted her kids? She always thought that she would marry a British man. I was like, not her using the same exact lines for different boys, okay, Janae? And Liv is still pissed off and still really going off about Leah. Of course. Honestly, I'm already tired of this. Yes, Leah said what she said. Yes, she was trying to obfuscate a little bit more. Liv, you probably should have pulled Leah to the side and had a conversation with her after you talked to Rob. Like, if you guys were really each other's girls, then you should have had that conversation. Leah shouldn't have pulled Liv over in that moment. I think she thought that Liv would have her back, but in general, she should have went and talked to Liv by herself. Stop the conversation with Rob and talk to Liv by herself. But that didn't happen. Leah is feeling kind of stressed out. And Janae and her decide to go sleep in Soul Ties because she doesn't feel comfortable sleeping next to Connor. And Connor pretty much is already talking crap about Leah. He's like, I feel like she's been lying to me. I mean, yeah, she has. She has. And, you also lied to Janae. So I don't feel sorry for you. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, so we get to the next day. Liv is still upset about this. And she's talking to, I don't remember who she's talking to, but she's like, I feel like she wanted me to lie for her. She's talking about Leah. I feel like she wanted me to lie for her, but good friends won't lie for you. And honestly, at this point, get over it, Liv. Get over it. It's really not that big of a deal. You've now already done the thing that you're upset about Leah doing, which is separate yourself from the situation and let everybody know that you didn't vote for Andrea. But you're also talking to Nicole about all this, and you voted for Nicole. So you're actually kind of shady. Because have you told Nicole that you voted for her? I don't think so. So there's a couple of people. Leah, I'm not a Leah stan. I don't think Leah's perfect. Leah has her issues and her stuff, but also Liv needs to address hers. In the makeup room this morning, Leah asked to speak to Liv. And Liv is like, well, I would rather Kayla be there because like even though I said stuff, we both felt the same way. And then Serena always has her girls back. So Serena's like, well, how about the four of us go up because we were the four who voted. And honestly, for me, I'm like, that. I think that makes sense. Serena will help make it more of like a civil conversation. And I think that was her goal. I think she likes everybody, but also she just wants to make sure that this is actually a productive conversation. And I do think her being there helped that. So Leah apologizes for things getting heated. And she says that she feels like this conversation should have been between her and Liv, but she also acknowledges that Liv did not come over there on her own, that Leah had asked her to come over there. So she acknowledges that and takes accountability. And then Liv also says she wanted the convo to be private as well, and maybe she had jumped to conclusions, but she felt like Leah was trying to save her ass because the boys were like really forcing this narrative about it being Leah's fault. So she felt like Leah was being shady and trying to distance herself. But she also says that she wanted Rob to be able to say his piece. And I'm not really, this part I don't understand with Liv. I don't understand why you're so concerned about Rob saying his piece. If anything, Rob is always saying his piece. Rob is always saying his opinion. Like, he's been pretty vocal about everything, about how he feels about Andrea. I feel like he has said his piece. You should have gone to Leah and talked to her and said like, hey, this is what's happening. Is this what you said? And not had her be blindsided. I think that if we're friends, that's what you do. I'm not even saying that Leah is that great of a friend, but they seem to act like they're friends. So if you're her friend and you're somebody who lives saying that she always stands on business, that she's 100%, then that's what, to really say that you're that, then you should have been the one to be like, hey, this is what I've been hearing from Rob. You tell me your side of the story. Because then it just, it's Leah's fault that she brought her over, but because this conversation wasn't had beforehand, this is why it got so heated. And Liv also says, I basically stand on everything I say yesterday. And Serena's like, so you think she's delusional and a compulsive liar? And Liv's like, well, I didn't call her delusional, which I actually think she did. But it's like, I didn't call her delusional. I called her a compulsive liar, and I stand on that. And Leah's like, you stand on that even though you hadn't even heard my side of the story? She's like, well, I'm allowed to make my own opinions. Honestly, I feel like part of this conversation was cut off because it goes to Leah being like, I'm glad we actually ended up having this conversation. I was like, I'm surprised you guys didn't delve deeper into that. Like, why from this one situation was Liv so adamant that you're a compulsive liar? Like, what is her side of this? So Leah apologizes again for saying, because Liv is like, you saying you took a back seat is like you pretty much trying to save yourself. And Leah apologizes again. She's like, okay, saying a back seat was the wrong word. I should not have said that. And she's like, but I honestly did not mean it the way that you guys took it. And she's like, we all did make this decision. I was just trying to say that because I was not pushing for her. I was not like steamrolling. I was not leading the pitchforks to get Andrea out. She's like, that's all I was saying. I was trying to make it, that's all I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to say that I didn't have a say. And then I feel like Kayla's like, okay, and Liv apologizes also. She's like, because you know what, this did get out of hand and it shouldn't have been in front of everybody. And she's like, and that was unacceptable. So Mia says she understands everyone's point of view. Everyone seems happy and they all hug it out. I love this conversation because it really felt like every single person took accountability for their part. And whether we believe everybody or not on that they actually believe what they're saying or not, whatever, I am just glad to see that the girls are really taking accountability, having each other's backs, not also talking each other separately from the boys, because the boys, Aaron and Rob, are really trying to separate them, are really trying to cause a divide. So I'm glad that they talk separately. And also on that note of the boys trying to cause a divide, Rob is under the balcony, wherever they are, and being like trying to listen. He's upset that the girls are getting along And he's like, oh, I bet they're just talking a whole bunch of crap. They're talking a whole bunch of horse shit up there. And I'm like, once again, I need you to stay out of women's business. Okay. You said your piece. That if they now don't want to be mad at her, that's on them. Like, get over it. I honestly feel like he stayed in the villa because one of his main things, other than the fact that I don't think he was in love with Andrea, it's been 4 days and he also still wants to meet somebody. But also, I think once he decided to stay, he also was like, I'm also going to use this time to take down Leah. He is very adamant and very upset about the fact that these girls are just getting along. I was like, what's so wrong with that? And he says, this conversation was not about me making Leah look bad or saying that you were the only one in the vote. It was about you lying to me and me saying I'm done. I don't think Leah lied to him per se. I do think that she tried to make things more amicable. I think she tried to be more measured, tried to like, I think she was basically, and not in the right way, trying to say, hey, I'm not the one who made this conversation. And I do think saying I took a back seat left a lot up for interpretation. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt here in this situation. I think Leah has a lot of other things that we have to talk about that are negative. I don't think this is the one. So I'm not going to pile this on as in like the negative for her. You know, going kind of before the challenge, going over kind of some of the other couples, Nicole and Kendall. Nicole basically, after Miguel tells her that he likes her, she tells the girl, she's like, oh, you know what? Maybe it was kind of the chase because now she's not really feeling him. And I'm like, Nicole, okay? So you put Kendall through all this for what? I can't with her, honestly. And now so she's saying that she likes Kendall more and she feels like Miguel, she was obviously very physically attracted to him and she's physically attracted to Kendall, but with Kendall, she has more of a rapport. Like they have better communication. And Janae ends up saying something about how Miguel, she's like, I mean, yeah, he came in hot kissing everybody, which I mean, facts, dude. Miguel I feel like he is, I mean, when we get to the end of this episode, he ends up having kissed basically almost everybody in this villa. Those lips are for the streets, okay? Miguel's lips are for the streets. Miguel and Connor end up talking. And he's telling the guys that he still likes Nicole, but he's also into Leah. And Connor's like, oh, you know, even though I've talked crap about Leah or whatever happened to you, I think it's something to look into. I think he's hoping, even though he's, you know, hey, good for Connor. You know, on this channel, we're not Connor stans. We don't like him. The way he treated our girl, Janae, abysmal. So whatever. I'm really not worried about his feelings. Okay, I know I keep saying that, but I just like gotta make that clear. But he pretty much is saying, cool, Miguel, get to know Leah. And I'm like, okay. Part of me feels like Miguel's also just trying to make sure that he has somebody because, yeah, I think that it is a bit of a strategy. Who knows? I feel like they could be a cute couple, but he really hasn't said anything about Leah until now. So the next scene is we have the challenge, flex appeal. So the boys do this high energy aerobic routine. They have to like go down this pole. And then they oil themselves up and then they take this shake and they have to balance themselves and like pour it in their mouth. And then they pick up something where it ends up being like a phrase. And then they have to pick the boy who they think that matches. And then they do a cold plunge and they pick a girl to kiss. So Connor goes first. And what he got was which boy is the most arrogant. And he picked Kendall, which I was like, hey, whatever. I mean, it didn't seem like Kendall seemed to take it on the chin. So no bad blood there. And then he ended up kissing Cassidy. Ken got which boy is the biggest poser. And he picked Miguel and he said because Miguel's always looking in the mirror when he's working out. And then he kissed Janae and he said third time's a charm. And I mean, that kiss looked good. And he also said, he's like, oh, I got some bunda, which I was like, where did I hear that from? And I feel like I remember hearing bunda a lot from, what was it called? The Ultimatum, South Africa. So I kind of like that. Kendall went next, and he got which boy is the least trustworthy. And he picked Rob. And you know what, guys? Our queen of the drama, Rob, started being dramatic. Surprise, surprise. He's literally, Rob, okay, side note, Rob has an anger issue. Rob has a serious anger issue. He needs to chill. He is throwing, every single day he's mad about something. Every single day he's crying about something. Every single day he's yelling at somebody about something. I'm like, my dude, okay? Get some therapy, get some anger management. I don't know, something, but it's not okay. So Rob says, when did I ever lie to you? And Kendall says, well, word gets around. And he said the thing between you and Leah is kind of a little bit murky. And then Rob's like, what? And then he's like, Miguel's pretty much, not Miguel, Kendall's pretty much like, it's a he said, she said thing. And he just feels like it's a bit murky. Rob is pissed. He is side-eyeing Kendall. He's like glaring at him. He's like, oh, oh. And honestly, this is a challenge. Kendall had to pick somebody. Okay? Who would you have liked him to pick? Kendall had to pick somebody. This is a part that I don't get with some of these challenges, is that some of these people take it so seriously. And I'm like, well, someone had to be picked, right? And honestly, Rob, you are shady. You are the least trustworthy of the boys, I think. Yeah, of the boys. And honestly, the only reason somebody would get this upset, even though it was a challenge, is if they felt like there was some truth to it. And I feel like you know there's some truth to it. Right, Rob? Right? You know there's some truth to it. So then Nigel goes, and he got which boy has no game, and they picked Connor. And you know what? Where was the lie? Nowhere. The lie was nowhere. Connor doesn't have game. And Nigel kissed Liv. And Liv was like, I didn't expect that. Because, I mean, we really haven't seen him talk to Liv. But I think he already knows Janae's not interested in him. Serena's not interested in him. I think those were his two top picks. So he's trying to pick somebody, and he knows Liv has nobody right now. Miguel says, which boy gets which boy is only here for the clout. And he picked Kenny, basically just because he was trying to be petty because Kenny picked him. And then he kissed Nicole. And Nicole was like, Nicole ended up saying, she's like, I felt like he did that to make Kendall mad. I was like, do you? I was like, did we miss something? Because he told you he liked you, so why would he not pick you? I don't know. Nicole's playing some kind of games here, like, also. I feel like she doesn't know what she wants. I don't know. So Aaron goes next, and the phrase he gets is, if you left tomorrow, which boy do you think would steal your girl? And he picks Kenny. And he said basically because Kenny's hot, he has abs, as well as he doesn't really know him, so he feels like, you know, they just met, so he feels like he would swoop in, and it would be okay. And Kenny was like, I get it, took it on the chin. And then he ended up kissing Kayla, which we all knew he would. Rob goes next. Our least favorite person, Rob. And he gets, which boy would you want to be dumped next? And of course, Petty McPetster, Rob, picks Kendall. And Rob even said, I picked him because I was upset. Rob is so salty. He's so salty. He's so petty. And I don't know. And Kendall was just like, it was one of those things like, whatever. The thing is, this is supposed to be a game. And Rob, you made it personal. So then Rob ended up kissing Cassidy. And he gave Liv a peck on the cheek, which I was like, I don't know where that was from. I don't know where that came from. Like, why did he give her a peck on the cheek and then pick Cassidy to make out with? Like, is there something there? I don't know. That was weird. I just felt like that was weird. What do you guys think? Like, why do you think he did that? So then Cordell is the last one. And oh my God, did he put his back into this? The way he was dancing, the way he went down that pole, it's like, I was like, do you take striptease classes? Like, do you have a pole at home? Because he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. And It looked good. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm like, Cordell, yas, yas, yas. Give it, give it, give it. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to give it. It's already been brought in. Okay. That's basically what he said. And it basically is like some magic might shit. The phrase that he got was, he said, which boy is your biggest threat in the villa? And he put Nigel, because he said, well, you already took my girl on a date. Well, he said, well, what did he say first? He said, well, I don't really think I have a threat, but you did take my girl on a date. So, and he picked Nigel. And then he kissed Serena, of course. And Serena, and honestly, it looked hot. It looked hot. And Serena was like, my boy, she's like, he's the best dancer in the villa next to me. And I was like, love her. So then the girls vote the winner of the most flex appeal, and they vote Cordell.
Up next is Cordell.
He's like the best dancer in the villa, besides myself.
He earned that. He earned that, okay? So after that, after the challenge, we get to Nicole. She talks about how she's leaning more towards Kendall, and she's talking to girls and she's saying the kiss was better with Kendall, and she likes the connection with Kendall more. So I'm like, okay, hopefully when the next recoupling happens, she stands on that, and we can stop this 50-50 stuff, because we already know Kendall is not about that 50-50 life. Cassidy said she likes both kisses. I don't believe her. I don't believe her. I think now she's definitely leaning towards Rob, and I'm upset about it. I'm upset about it because Cassidy, honestly, she doesn't have that many choices, but I wanted Rob out, and if she likes Rob more, then he won't leave. So she's not feeling Connor. I can tell it already. I can tell it already. And Liv talks about her kiss with Nigel, and she was like, hey, I didn't really feel anything. I also didn't really expect it, but I'm not going to totally cut him off because things can grow. So I'm like, hey. And then Rob and Kendall talk. And Rob basically was like, what the fuck were you doing? That was so dumb. You were so dumb. Sorry, let me get back to it. And he said, if you cared about my or her feelings, since you're friends with her, you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have thrown all this stuff back out there. He's like, I lost respect for you. Honestly, coming from somebody that nobody has respect for, the nation has no respect for you, it's rich for you to say that you lost respect for Kendall for playing a game. For playing a game. He's a joke. Rob is a joke. And Kendall would be like, oh, I feel like you're my best friend. And Rob's like, I don't really feel like that's the case. I mean, Kendall, I'm like, is that the case? Is Rob your best friend? I mean, I'm now losing respect for you if you feel like Rob's your best friend. Okay? Now I'm losing respect for you, Kendall. I don't care if Rob's losing respect for you, but I am if Rob is your best friend. They end up making up, and Kendall says, like, yeah, it was really dumb. And Rob's like, yeah, it was so dumb. It was so dumb. Don't ever do that again. And he's like, let's end it here and let's never talk about it again. And it's just like so honestly dramatic. And part of me is like, okay, is this his real personality? Or does he think he's like slaying, like he thinks he's acting, like he's trying to act and he thinks he's slaying? Because if you think you are, you need more acting lessons. It's not working. Even, what are they called? Even those, daytime television shows would not have you on. Okay. I'm just letting you know, they would not have you on. And if this is also your real personality, get help, Rob. Get help. Oh, sorry. Okay. So then Cassidy and Rob end up talking, and she ends up saying how maybe she should have taken him on a date and that she did like the kiss. And I'm like, girl, no. Girl, no. Cassidy, we expected more from you. Maybe not a lot more, but we expected more. Then Miguel and Leah end up talking. And he ends up telling her that he felt bad for her for the situation. He saw that she had pulled Liv over thinking that Liv was going to support her. And he kind of felt bad about how everything went for her. And she was like, I'm just tired of talking about Rob. We all are, girl. We all are, girl. I'm glad you got there because I've been tired of you talking about Rob for like a few episodes now. So I'm glad you've caught up. I'm glad you've caught up, girlfriend. So she's tired of talking about him. So yeah, hopefully she stands on that. This man doesn't like you. Let's not let him tell you the millionth time that he doesn't want to be with you. Let's not let him embarrass you for the millionth time, Leah. Okay? Let's not let that happen. And she also said that she, she just like hopes that he's happy and maybe he'll be happy with Cassidy and Liv. And not Miguel being like, ooh, Liv? Ooh, I like gossip. And you know what? I love a boy that you can gossip with a little bit. Not someone who like causes drama, but who doesn't like to be able to gossip with their man a little bit? Okay, because I do. I love gossiping with my man. Miguel lets Leah know that he has eyes for her, and that he's been watching her for a little bit, and that he feels like she has a very beautiful and fiery soul. And I was like, that's sexy. I was like, but you know what? Miguel is all about that Riz. He is risen. Like his middle name should be Riz. And Leah's like, really? And she's like, yeah, but I just always thought that you and Connor were like really solid. So I didn't want to like step on that. And then they end up kissing. And wow. Like this was not a little like, they were kissing. Like I felt like maybe we should turn away because this is getting deep. Some other stuff might start to happen. And then everyone, they're doing this on, I can't remember which section it is, but everyone starts walking in and seeing them kiss. Everyone can see them make out. And looking at Connor's looking at them and he's like, oh, wow. Wow. And in the confessional, he's like, it's really hard to see Leah move on so quick. Oh, is it, Connor? Is that difficult to see someone that you thought liked you move on so quickly? Oh, wait, how do you think Janae felt? Oh, but you know what? The difference between Leah and you is that Leah actually broke things off with you first. You never broke things off with Janae. And then you just straight up moved on with Leah and acted like nothing happened. So yeah, I don't feel bad for you. You're not getting any sympathy from me. Yeah. Nope. Okay. So the next thing is the recoupling. And one of my notes was like, not Rob in his overalls. He's pissing me off with these overalls. Okay. I feel like, does he even wash these? Does he even wash these? Like, does he not have any other clothes except these overalls? I swear he doesn't. I think we've seen everything we're going to see from him. And I'm not even somebody that believes that you need to have a bunch of different outfits, but the overalls. Okay. And also out of recoupling nonetheless. Couldn't you have put a little bit of effort? Just a little bit? Ugh. So, yeah, I don't know. Rob at some point during this recoupling part is like saying, Rob and Connor are saying like, yeah, we're done with Leah. Yeah, and she's done with you. She's moved on. Whatever. So Serena picks Cordell and her speech was really cute. Her speech was really cute. I know there's a lot of people who are saying Serena is using Cordell, and honestly, she could be. She could be. I'm 50-50 on it. I'm hoping that she's not. I would love for Casa Amor for Cordell to meet somebody else as well, so that there could be like a real test on like if this is something, you know? I also would like Serena to meet somebody, and so we could really see like, do you really like Cordell, or like somebody that she would actually really like? And if she sees that person and she's like, you know what, actually I want Cordell, then I'll like feel more comfortable. So right now I'm like, I don't know. I don't want her playing with her. Man, Cordell's so sweet. Kayla picks Aaron. Doy. So Cassidy picks Rob. And you should have seen me last night. I was like, please don't pick Rob. Please don't pick Rob. Please don't pick Rob. And I was like, why? Like, honestly, why? And in his gross overalls, Cassidy. And then Kayla turns to Aaron and she's like, do you feel better, Aaron? If Aaron cries one more time, I'm so tired of his tears. So we're still stuck with Rob. And I honestly, I can't I mean, I get it, Cassidy. Connor wasn't a great option. Really, the only option you had was Connor. But like, Rob, I'm tired of him. And I'm tired of hearing about Andrea. Okay, she was only here for 4 days. And the last, like, what, 3 or 4 episodes have been about his whole thing with Andrea. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of his moping. I'm tired of his anger. I'm tired of it. I want him gone. But he's still here. Great. So then Nicole picks Kendall. And it's kind of cute how Cordell went to hug Kendall afterward. And then Serena was like, oh, you seemed happier about that than you did about me picking you. I'm like, Serena, stop. And then Liv picks Nigel. And she says, I'm sorry to Connor. But you know what? She needed to pick someone that even though she doesn't like Nigel, she needed to pick someone that she could possibly have a connection with. And she knows 100% that she's not going to have a connection with Connor. So you got to do you. You got to put you first, girl. Okay. Janae picks Kenny. And Janae slays on her thing because she does a callback to how Connor, when Connor picked Leah, said, this decision wasn't hard. Janae says, this decision wasn't hard. And I was like, yes, queen. Yes. And she's like, this guy's giving me the effort that I've been wanting since I've gotten here. And I was like, yeah, are you hearing this, Connor? Are you hearing this? Like, I hope you're feeling stressed because you're getting kicked out tonight. And you deserve it because you did not treat Janae well. Then Leah picks Miguel. And I'm like, thank the Lord. I mean, I never thought she was going to pick Connor. That's over and done with. But just in case, I was like, oh, okay, good. And Connor goes, bye-bye. And honestly, even though we still have Rob, and that's upsets me, at least one of these annoying men are gone. So I'm happy about that. Connor's gone. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're done. He gives a little bit of like serial killer vibes. His eyes are really intense. And I'm not trying to be like rude, but I'm just calling it how I see it. Like there's just something off about him. And I think this is why all the girls, none of the girls like him or flocked him. There's something off about him. Rob is still here, and I am just hoping that he gets kicked out soon. Okay? We do not need this man in here anymore. We don't. And Aaron, there are a lot of tears because of Connor. And honestly, I'm over it. I'm over his tears. Aaron is so messy. He's so messy. And honestly, I feel like, Kayla, you got to watch out. Like, the amount that he is crying so much for his friends, like, what's going on there? You haven't even known these people that long. Like, your girl is still here. Why are you so upset? I don't know. So everyone voted tonight and I really hope that Rob and Cassidy are on the bottom. I'm sorry, Cassidy girl, but I hope, because I really want Rob out before Casa Amor. And also, I think they just released the Casa Amor people, the list. I think they just released the Casa Amor list, and it's not really giving that much, honestly. It's not really giving like Casa Amor, bombshelly stuff. They're all attractive, but I don't know. I wanted something more oomph. It does seem like the girls are a bit more attractive than the guys on that list. So it seems like the guys are going to have a lot of options. So to wrap this up, Connor got dumped, which we're excited about. Rob is still here, which we're sad about. Leah and Miguel are now a couple. And I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. I can kind of see this working, and it will be kind of cool if it did. Nicole and Kendall are coupled up. So hopefully Nicole sticks by this now and just sticks with Kendall. Liv and Nigel, I don't think that's going anywhere. And also, you know what's so interesting is all the guys in that one scene, which I felt was kind of gross, but all of them are like, oh, Liv is so hot. But nobody is like interested in her. So it's definitely like gives that whole thing when Miguel's like, I have sexual chemistry towards you, but nothing else. And she's like, I feel like my personality is better. Maybe there's something we're not seeing, but there's something personality wise that really turns these men off from her, because they're all definitely attracted to her, but they don't want anything to do with her, which is really interesting. And Kayla and Aaron, they're so boring, honestly. I mean, it's cute. They like each other, but they're boring, and I'm not a fan of Aaron. So Serena and Cordell, hopefully that stays. And yeah, so as into that episode, I'm uploading this tomorrow, which is Saturday, and there's going to be an After Sun episode, which I'm going to be watching. And then Sunday, we're going to see which couples get on the top three, and on the bottom three. And then we'll figure out how one of those couples gets kicked out. So we'll see. But this was a pretty good episode. Love Island Lucy is really eating. It really is. But I love these little chats of ours. I really do. Love you, mean it. Bye.